Welcome to the Home Stagers and Designers on Fire podcast, where we help you attract more ideal clients, up-level your business, make more money, and still have a smokin' hot life. Hosted by best-selling author, coach, and speaker Marianne Cherico, this podcast focuses on business and mindset strategies that enable you to create a life and business by design. Now, let's get fired up.
Well, I am so excited to be doing this podcast episode. This one is sort of getting raw and personal. You know, I do this every year, and as 2025 winds down and 2026 is days away, I find that this is often a time of reflection. And this is my sappy, get real with you yearly podcast episode, the raw one where I'll share my feelings and what I want for you in 2026 and what I want for me. Making empowered decisions is how we both grow in our personal and professional life. And it's all intertwined, right? Have you ever heard the saying, the way you do anything is the way that you do everything? I love that because the way we show up in our business often is the way we show up in our life as well. As a personal and professional development coach, I truly believe that when you grow your business, you must grow as a person, and the growth that you earn will ripple and spill into all areas of your life. As you grow your business, you grow into someone who runs a successful business and makes decisions from that lens. It's all about who you're becoming. And I'm going to dish a little bit in this episode about dating and grief and making decisions based on personal growth and abundance instead of fear. So it's going to get a little bit juicy. Now, in all honesty, it's a bittersweet time for me. And I find myself getting super, super emotional. I'm reminded of holidays where loved ones used to sit at the table and are no longer here. And those laughs and the love they brought are irreplaceable. My late husband's birthday is Christmas Day, and although he's been gone for nearly 4 years, his presence is all around me in the home that we both loved so much. The home we brought our children up in, the home we worked so hard for. When I'm putting up the tree or baking cookies or wrapping gifts or simply watching TV, I feel his presence all around me, making me a cup of tea while I'm working or sitting beside me on the couch, high-fiving at a Patriots touchdown and smiling that smile that won me over on day one. And honestly, it still brings tears to my eyes, and there's a lot of tears lately. I really miss him so much. I see him in the faces of our grandchildren that adored him, and I think about how much he's missed, and that's a gut punch, really, straight to my heart. And although I don't want to go down the rabbit hole of grief, Debbie Downer style, I want to frame this episode in rebirth and hope and intentionality as a way to combat that, to embrace it and move with it, sometimes carrying a small rock of grief and sometimes a big boulder, but carrying it nonetheless. Everyone is dealing with something that's tough this holiday season. Grief from a divorce or a child who's struggling, from witnessing what seems to be a world that has become more and more cruel. We're all carrying grief to one extent or another. It's simply a part of the human experience. And I do believe that what you focus on expands. So, although this episode is framed in grief and reflection and empowerment and choices, I want it also to bear witness to how we can hold space for grief and still thrive, still find joy and meaning in our lives. When Jimmy died, my biggest fear, the one that I talked about endlessly to my grief counselor, was that I would lose hope. I was so afraid that I would lose hope of ever being happy again. That happiness comes from the inside and you can't fake it. You know, people on the outside would see me as happy, but you can't fake that inner grief, that inner sadness. And my counselor kept telling me that grief would never go away. It would change shape, it would ebb and flow, and it would hit me when I least expected it, but it would never go away. And I remember being so frustrated because I wanted her to say that it would go away. I wanted to have hope that I wouldn't always feel this way. And I kept telling her, but I need hope. I need hope. Now, don't get me wrong. I still carried on. I even did a speaking engagement in Baltimore for NAPO a month after Jimmy passed away. And people would comment on how strong I was, while the ones closest to me knew the truth that in a New York minute, I would fall into a puddle of tears, that I needed to talk about it a lot with them while they held space, and that every day I was struggling. My counselor didn't lie to me, though, and say it would go away, even though I wanted her to lie to me. Instead, she said I would find a way to build my life around it so that the joys and fulfillment would somehow make it easier to take. Being in resistance doesn't help. My job was to accept it and build my life around it intentionally. And this is what I did and what I continue to do. It's up to us to build the hope muscle and pave the way to a fulfilled life, no matter what the circumstances are, because what you focus on expands. When we feel hopeless, when we believe there's no hope about something, including our business, it's important that we consciously look for evidence of hope, the glimmers of hope, of joy we might not have noticed. In business, when jobs aren't coming in, it's easy to fall to stories that support why we aren't winning jobs. Instead, I would like to propose to you that you focus on all the wins that you have been creating. The agent who wants to meet with you, the 10 calls you made to real estate agents that landed you a coffee date, the builder who reached out to you because she saw your work on Instagram. Use this as inspiration to keep showing up, to consistently take action, because our brains look for evidence, and they'll either look for evidence of us being in failure mode or in success mode. And we want to feed the success mode part of our brain, to look for evidence of that so that it grows and it empowers us to show up fully. That's what you can control. And that consistency in showing up and the energy that you bring to showing up and making things happen will serve you well. I'd also like to propose that you are very mindful of taking responsibility for the results that you're creating in your life and business or not creating. So, for example, what do you do when business is slow? Do you double down on your networking and marketing, or do you blame it on the time of year? Do you reach out to 10 real estate agents with no tangible results and blame it on the agents? Say things like, oh, they're just too cheap, or they don't get it, or maybe even worse, telling yourself stories about how you're not good enough. So, whatever story that you make up about it, does it empower you or disempower you? Do you instead make up stories that fine tune your messaging and marketing and double down and reach out to 100 agents? What do you do? How are you showing up? Where are you taking ownership? Ask yourself if you're responding to your circumstances through the lens of fear or the lens of hope. Fear's tricky. It sabotages our goals and it shows up in different ways, often subconscious. And without sounding self promotional, that's where coaching helps. Now, I want to share a very, very real, very human example of how fear shows up in my life, because it's the same fear I see show up for my home staging clients every single day, but in a different way. For the past year, I've been on dating sites, and let me just say this, this has been one of the most confronting personal growth exercises I have ever signed up for. Now, I've only gone on two real dates, two. I have lots of funny stories about guys that I've connected with, but I've really only gone on two dates. And a couple weeks ago, I went out with a man I genuinely enjoyed. I enjoyed his company. He was smart, he was self-made, successful, classy, a true gentleman. The conversation flowed back and forth. He was flirty in a kind, respectful way. He was complimentary. And I left the date thinking, he's a good guy. I'm just not sure if this is my person, but I really enjoyed spending the time with him. And then what happened next? Silence. Days went by and I didn't hear from him. Now, here's where fear stepped in as the villain and started running the stories in my head. I started thinking, sounds like he's not interested in me, even though he acted like he was. Don't text him and just kind of check in and thank him for the date because you'll look desperate. If he liked you, he would have reached out to you first. Maybe me being me was just too much for him. I'm just always too much for people. Maybe saying no to a kiss on the first date turned him off. What if we go out again and there's no chemistry? I'm going to feel terrible. I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings. All these stories in my head that I was telling myself. Okay. Before I knew it, I had built an entire Netflix series in my head based on absolutely zero facts. I have no idea what this guy thinks. And that's what fear does. Fear doesn't scream. It sounds reasonable. It sounds like this must be the truth. Fear disguises itself as logic and self protection. I'm not going to reach out to him. He would have reached out to me first, right? This is our lizard brain trying to keep us safe by keeping us small. And we don't like to be rejected. Nobody does, right? Those agents that you are calling, you don't want to feel rejected by them. That feeling doesn't feel good. It makes you feel uncomfortable. It's the same kind of thing. So back to my story. I paused and I asked myself a really important question yesterday, one I ask my coaching clients all the time. Here's the question. Am I not taking action by sending him a text because I am not at all interested in him or curious or because I'm afraid? And when I honestly picked it apart and challenged all of my thoughts and limiting beliefs, the truth was clear. I wasn't disinterested. It was just fear. So I did the brave thing, the simple thing, but hard thing, the thing that I could actually control. I sent him a text, a simple text that said, I'm sorry this took me so long to reach out to you, but I just want to let you know that I really enjoyed our time together and you seem like a really good guy. That's it. No over explaining, no strategy, no game playing, just honesty. Now, the outcome is out of my hands. I don't know if he's going to text me back. It's been about 12 hours and 15 seconds. Just kidding. And I haven't heard from him. So I may or may not, but I won't tell myself the stories in my head. I won't make it mean anything about me because I don't know what he's thinking. I don't know if he's back with his ex wife. I don't know if I'm just not his cup of tea. I don't know if he's really busy or he's just not interested. But what I did was I took the situation by the hands and I texted him, and now the ball is in his court, right? But I showed up. This is what I know for sure. He may respond and he may not, but I showed up. I showed up as myself. I chose courage over comfort, and I didn't abandon myself to avoid discomfort. And I am so damn proud of that. And this right here is why I'm telling you this, because this is exactly what happens in your business. You don't follow up with the agent because you don't want to seem pushy. You don't raise your prices because you're afraid of being rejected. You don't pitch the builder because they'll probably see through it that you're new and they're not going to work with you anyway. You don't post consistently because you're afraid of what people may think. And just like dating, we tell ourselves stories that justify inaction when the truth is fear is in the driver's seat. But growth, real personal and professional development growth, comes from doing the thing you're scared to do and doing it anyway. Not because you can control the outcome, but because you can control how you show up. And ultimately, that's what will create results. Hope isn't something that magically appears. Hope is built one brave action at a time. And whether it's your love life or your home staging business, the moment you challenge your fear, you take back your power. Now, let's talk about another subject. This is a little bit pivotal. Let's talk about nurturing your spirit this year. One of the things I'm going to focus on this year is giving my home more love, more warmth, and more well me. This is one way that I can not only honor who I'm becoming and evolving into, but also Jimmy loved this home. And I feel as though when I take care of it, in a way, I'm taking care of him. And that's an act of love. I spent a lot of time at my home with my coaching business, and I wanted to reflect more of the art that I like and the art that I've created through the years and the art that I'm going to continue to create. By by the way, one of the common themes that I have in my home is different pictures of women, strong women who are powerful in their feminine energy. So I started by painting our bedroom evergreen fog by Sherwin Williams. It's one of the ways that I'm letting go of what was the color that was our bedroom and looking forward to creating a space that feels nurturing, creative, and original. And then I'm going to do a feature wall in a soft damask because I love damask. And this wall is really important to me because it's the wall that I face when I'm in bed. So it's very personal. And I chose the color evergreen fog because I wanted a color that sort of grounded me and hugged me. I also splurged and bought a repurposed long antique mirror that's so cool. And I kept thinking about it. And I just said, you know what, Marianne, you're worth it. You go buy that mirror for yourself. And usually I question that. I debate it. I don't make those rash decisions, but I did. I bought it for me. At the top of the mirror is a picture of a young woman being crowned, and it's very antique looking. And what really makes it cool and a twist on the traditional is that there's an overlay text of neon. You know, the neon text that you've seen at market in the pictures, like, different places where they have those really cool pictures with that neon text. Well, that juxtaposition of the antique woman being crowned and the neon text that said Slay Queen, the juxtaposition of the woman, the antique picture of a woman being crowned and the neon cursive Slay Queen was just so cool. And I love the antique gold frame. Now, for those of you who know what slay queen means when you Google it, it's not what my definition looks like. And in fact, I did not Google it till after I bought it and was doing this episode. So I'm going to tell you what slay queen means to me and why I love this picture and why I want it in my room. A slay queen describes a confident, fashionable woman who excels at looking glamorous and living a lavish lifestyle, often through social media. This is what the Google term is. But the term can be derogatory, implying she's materialistic, which is not me at all, a gold digger, which is not me at all, or faking wealth, contrasting with the positive slang slay, which means to succeed impressively. So I don't consider myself materialistic or a gold digger or faking wealth. I am who I am, and that's not me. What I liked about it was that they talked about the slang slay, which means to succeed impressively. So essentially, according to Google, slay queen is a young woman who slays or dominates in fashion and lifestyle presentation, whether genuinely or performatively. Again, that's not me. But what I liked out of that was the slang for slay, which means to succeed impressively. Now, when I bought this, this was my interpretation, and this is the one I stand by of what slay queen means. So to me, it means a strong, powerful, passionate woman who knows who she is, cares deeply about empowering her coaching clients, and what she puts out into the world. And she shows up unapologetically. She's fierce. She's a fierce protector of people's dreams and empowers the women she coaches to live their highest and best life by being their highest and best self. She shows up, she does the work, whether it be exercising consistently or showing up on social media. She feeds and nurtures her spirit and does the same for the women she coaches and the important women in her life. She takes care of her health, invests in herself, and is constantly learning about the inner game and the mindset and how it empowers us to make bold choices. So that's my interpretation, and that's what it means to me, and I am sticking to it. In fact, I love this so much that this is going to be my theme of the year, Slay Queen. And, you know, it also means being more of who I am, more artistic and creative, more vibrant and passionate, in spite of being or feeling sometimes that people might think I'm too much. I'm too much for some. I'm going to be me. I'm not going to keep second guessing that. I'm going to be fearless. I'm not going to let anyone rob me of my joy. Lobbying for women and providing the coaching, inspiration, and leadership that inspires others is really important to me. Slaying disempowering thoughts that make me play small and helping my coaching clients do the same. This is what slaying means, slaying fears, right? I like that. Slay Queen. Slay Queen. Succeed impressively, my way, on my terms. And bringing along those of you who want to go along for the ride so that you feel more empowered to create the life and business that you want. I'm also going to be adding original artwork to my room. I'm planning on painting a vibrant traditional floral, but with more vibrant colors. And it will be in an antique gold frame. I love the juxtaposition of the old and the new. And I love bold tertiary colors. And I want to infuse pops of pink and eggplant and burnt orange and some toile with layers of texture for linens. It's going to be my oasis where I lie in bed and listen to podcasts at night and dream and muse when I can't sleep. And I may be scrolling through men on Bumble, by the way, or Our Time or Match. So that will be one of my soul nurturing things, making my bedroom into a cozy and inspirational oasis. Another thing I'll be doing is investing in myself more. It's time. Buying things that I might not have spent money on before, like great skincare, not just the kind from the drugstore, getting more Thai massages, buying clothes that are a little bit more expensive and not second guessing it, buying the Uggs instead of the bear paws, right? And as far as my business, I'm in the process of doing my life and business plan as my coaching clients are as well. And I'm thinking about what coaching I might invest in this year in order to up level. I so strongly believe in the value of coaching and I walk my talk. So, what about you? Where will you invest in yourself this year? What's holding you back? What stories are you telling yourself? Now, this begs the question, what will I let go of this year? For me, I'm going to let go more of what I think people might think of me. That's their business. I'm going to trust that I'll find my tribe. I already have. I want more of that. In fact, I'm going to magnetize my tribe. I'm not everyone's cup of tea, but the ones that I am right for are the ones that I have the most synergy with. And I can honestly say that most of the women that I coach are women I would handpick and choose. They bring me so much joy. It is such a privilege to work with them. They're creative and fun. They show up, they do the work, they support each other, they support me. They have a great sense of humor. They face their fears, and they're just really, really good people. And they are becoming dynamos in business. So watch out. I love nothing more than cheering them on social media, in our group coaching. And this is not fluff. I hold their feet to the fire. I hold them accountable. I tell them the hard stuff, but I absolutely love them through it. I believe in them. Some of them are so special that they even defended me against a woman trolling me in a Facebook group. I was so blown away. And they did it with so much class and integrity. And I was very moved. I was really very moved by this because I was a little bit taken aback by the words that that woman used somebody who I didn't even know and had a very cryptic profile. She didn't have a real name or a business. There was no picture of her, but she was very generous about kind of saying some demeaning things about a marketing thing that I was doing. In any events, I was very moved because these women didn't just say things and give lip service to things like a rising tide lifts all boats or women should support women. They demonstrated it, and it was very humbling to me. And I will also give a shout out to the colleagues, and you know who you were, that stood up for me because, you know, you didn't have to. One of you actually texted me in the middle of the night and well, it was it was probably more my middle of the night because you're a West Coast gal and you're somebody who I love and respect and adore, and you totally had my back, and I will never forget that. So, anyways, I'm going down a little bit of a rabbit hole, but I really believe when women say that they support other women, show me how you do, and do it in a classy way, right? There are also a few things that I'd like to do in my business. I want to become proficient in YouTube. I started, by the way, my podcast is now on YouTube. So please follow Home Stagers and Designers on Fire on my YouTube channel. I am trying to grow it. And believe me, I'm starting at square one. I want to leverage YouTube to build my podcast audience, which in turn helps me win clients because people get to know me and I'm either their cup of tea or not. But most of my clients that I've ended up working with have gotten to know me a little bit more on the podcast. I want to help more home stagers feel confident in their value, to get paid what they're worth, to build lives and businesses that are truly meaningful to them. So I want more. I want to help more people. That will mean going deep and learning everything there is to build my podcast audience. And I think I'll do it by specifically focusing on YouTube for now, because I'd rather go deep than wide. It means learning what I need to learn, investing if I need to, taking consistent action. And I'm excited about that because I love to learn and grow. And I would also like to hire someone to audit my podcast episodes and promote them on social media so that I'm not chief cook and bottle washer, so that me, the one who preaches about systems and SOPs, is walking her talk, right? That would free up time for me to do one podcast episode a week and provide really great content, which is important to me. But right now it's a lot of time because I'm doing all the audio auditing as well as the marketing, writing the web copy, and the emails. So I definitely want to free up that time. And by the way, those of you who have benefited from listening to my podcast, I'm going to shamelessly ask for a review on Apple or Spotify, or I don't know if you can do it on YouTube. I'm going to have to find that out. But that would mean the world to me. This is an act of love for me. And yes, I do get coaching clients from it, but I spend a lot of time and I really, really strive to bring you valuable content. You can see by the level of the guests that have spoken on this podcast. So it would mean the world to me. And that would be a really incredible way to support my efforts for this podcast. So, just take out a few minutes if you've benefited from this and write me a review. I promise you it will mean the world to me. So let's talk about you. What will you be doing differently in your business this year? And what will you commit to? And if you haven't already friended me on Instagram, go to at Homestager Coach Marianne, Marianne, and follow me. I will follow you back and DM me. Let me know. What are you going to do differently in your business this year? And if you would like support on building your life and business and would like to work with a trained coach who has created a successful home staging business and believes that the combination of great business strategy and an empowered mindset is the sweet sauce to success, let's set up a coaching discovery session and explore how we might work together. You can do that by going to my Instagram profile, or you can go to my website, www.coachingbymarianne.com. And I would like to end this by saying, I want you to get excited about 2026. I want you to step outside of your comfort zone. I want you to nurture your spirit while you're doing that. And I want you to have incredible hope and take action in the direction of your dreams. And I'll be cheering you on.
This episode of the Home Stagers and Designers on Fire podcast has ended. Be sure to subscribe for more strategies on how to attract your ideal clients, uplevel your business, make more money, and still have a smokin' hot life. And don't forget to review this show so that we can continue to bring you top-notch content. See you on the next episode.